Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to unpack this one with you today. We're diving into a really brilliant piece of source material, a fascinating psychological fable about finding absolute mental clarity. Seriously, if you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by your own thoughts, well, you are in the exact right place. We're going to explore a beautiful narrative about a young man, a simple glass of water, and how to quiet the noise. Let's get right into it.
Have you ever forgotten how to smile just because your mind simply won't stop thinking? It's a heavy question, right? But that was the exact reality for our protagonist, a 24-year-old guy named Marco. Now, Marco lived in this picturesque small village surrounded by mountains, but inside his head, it was anything but peaceful. His mind was just this relentless, exhausting storm of passing thoughts that never, ever seemed to take a break. Day in and day out, that constant mental chatter just completely drained him.
Part 1. A mind like a storm.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it shows Marco's energy being completely split in two different directions. His internal world was moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour, which, let's be honest, is a chaotic pacing so many of us can unfortunately relate to. On one side, he carried this really deep, heavy sadness about his past, and on the other, he felt constant, gnawing worry about his future. Because his thoughts were always bouncing wildly between what happened yesterday and what might happen tomorrow, his mind felt like a literal storm. It totally destroyed his ability to feel calm, it ruined his sleep, and ultimately, it's what made him forget how to smile.
Desperate for a way out of this, Marco decided to seek out a wise old man. Actually, this man was a former famous city psychologist who had spent his whole career helping people find mental peace. Before deciding to just retire and live a quiet life close to nature, Marco didn't even hesitate. On day 1, he leaves his busy life completely behind. By day 4, he is deep into this intensely tiring trek because, clearly enlightenment doesn't come with a direct flight. Finally, on day 7, absolutely filled with hope, he reaches this quiet, greenery-covered village in the hills.
Section 2. The Psychologist's Water Challenge. Imagine stepping out of a really noisy, overwhelming storm and walking right onto a calm, green, sunlit porch. That's exactly what Marco experienced when he found the old man sitting quietly, eyes closed, just radiating peace. Marco walked right up and made a desperate plea. He softly said, "Grandfather, my mind is very restless. I cannot stop thinking. I want peace in my heart. Can you help me?" The old psychologist slowly opened his eyes. But instead of giving some long academic lecture or writing a prescription, he just gave Marco a calm, knowing smile and offered him a very specific, physical task.
Okay, let's dive into this challenge because the rules are brilliantly simple but honestly incredibly high stakes. Step 1. The old man took Marco into his yard and filled a glass with water completely to the very top. I mean, so full that even a millimeter of a shake would cause a spill. Step 2. Marco had to walk from the yard all the way to the edge of the village and back. And Step 3, the ultimate rule here, do not spill even one single drop. No pressure, right?
So Marco accepts the challenge. He grips the glass super carefully and starts walking. But the road was an absolute nightmare. It was this narrow, highly busy street with people walking and running all around him. Shopkeepers were loudly calling out to customers, and of course, because it's the worst possible time for it, stray dogs were barking left and right, just a totally chaotic, unpredictable environment. The villagers even stopped to watch him with complete surprise, wondering what on earth this intensely focused young man was doing.
And yet, Marco didn't spill a single drop. Take a moment to just process that. Amidst all the running, the shouting, the narrow streets, the barking dogs, Marco walked step by step, deliberately and carefully, keeping his eyes locked solely on the water. His intense, absolute focus paid off, and he returned to the old man completely successful.
Part 3. The Secret of the Present.
Now we hit the pivotal moment where the former city psychologist reveals the true, almost scientifically backed nature of this seemingly magical water test. When Marco got back, he was extremely proud of his success. The old man nodded, smiled, but then he asked something really unexpected. "Did you see the children playing on the side of the road? Did you hear the dogs barking?" Marco was absolutely stunned. He hadn't seen or heard any of it. It suddenly hit him that he had completely tuned out the noise, the chaos, and all the distractions of the village simply because his entire existence in that moment was focused solely on the glass.
The old man replied gently, "When your mind stays in the present moment, then there is no space for fear, no confusion, and no extra thoughts." And wow, this right here is the emotional and psychological core of the story. By demanding absolute focus on the physical reality of the water, the task effectively forced Marco's mind to quiet its internal storm. He wasn't sad about his past anymore. He wasn't afraid of the future. He was just carrying a glass of water.
And this brilliantly illustrates what the present moment actually is. It isn't some mystical or vague concept. It's a state of mind focused entirely on the immediate task, leaving literally zero capacity for past sadness or future anxiety. Think of it as a highly practical, actionable psychological tool for the modern overthinking mind. Because here's the thing, when the glass requires 100% of your attention, the anxiety gets exactly 0%. It's a zero-sum game.
Section 4. Finding your inner peace.
As the sun began to set, casting its last light on the ground, while the birds flew back to their nests, Marco started his long journey home. But he was no longer that restless young man we met at the beginning. His psychology had been entirely transformed. He realized that peace is not found outside, it is already inside us. That's the ultimate lesson Marco learned. If you really want to calm your mind, you can't just run away to a quiet hill village and expect a change of geography to magically fix you. You must keep your mind anchored in the exact moment you are living in. When you live fully in the present, peace naturally surfaces right from within.
Which leaves us with a really important final question for you. What is your glass of water today that can anchor you to the present moment? Seriously, think about it. When the storm in your head gets way too loud, what immediate physical task can you give 100% of your focus to effectively silence that noise? Take that thought with you today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer of Marco's story. Until next time, stay focused and stay peaceful.